What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hustling Sideways podcast. I'm Alan Halas. I'm a music writer.
And I'm Jim Love. I'm a keynote and motivational speaker.
And this is the Hustling Sideways podcast. And when we don't have guests on the show, we're talking about the things that we go through with our own side hustles and just in life in general.
Life things.
Lots of life talks happening here every other Monday as well, too. Today we are talking about really kind of the unexpected for us, for both of us. So Jim, if there was one skill, I guess that, you know, when you started your side hustle, you've been speaking for close to a decade,
10
right?
Years,
yeah. And I've been writing for close to a decade or over a decade now. So when you started speaking, was there one skill that you never thought that you would have to develop that you've developed now?
Totally. And our answers are going to be the inverse of each other today,
I know.
which I'm going to appreciate. Yeah. So I knew I could speak, right? And I went out to do it. And as time went on, and I developed my repertoire a bit more, that gave me other content to speak about as you learn and just get better at different things. So I started writing about that content, and I would not consider myself to be a writer. It was not a skill I had growing up. And I mean, sure, I passed English class, but like I didn't enjoy it. I have learned to write to motivate, and that's something that's the difference is like it's short and sweet and quick and very like one line, like, you know what I mean? Like you almost pause in a way. And I've written probably now like 5 or 6 talks in the last couple of years and have to full throttle write them. And I didn't think I would be able to do that. That's not something I've ever thought I'd pick up. And now I have like a mechanism I use and I think I probably have shared it here, but like a 5-step process of writing that I have to follow that each time to like truly map out what I'm trying to say. And if I deviate from that, I have to like get back to square one, and kind of do it all over again. So
really? Okay.
It's like state your point, say why it's important, give your story, give the solution, recap your point. And before I've been like, and here's this, and I really have to bring it back to earth. So I really learned how to write to motivate. And that's not something I ever thought I'd be able to do. And it's still something I work at often. But if I have a topic I'm thinking about, like I'll go through iterations of that topic. Whether it be a tweet, a LinkedIn post, a Facebook thing, or like a full throttle keynote, you have to be able to write to emit emotions from people, right? Like they have to identify with something or see themselves in something. And, that was not even in my repertoire and not something I thought I'd have to do. Cause in my head, when I started this, I like wrote the talk I had, but I got a lot of help on it. Like my Arik who mentored me for years helped me on it. So like, I thought I was done with writing when that happened.
Sure.
And then as you move on and you kind of figure out more things you're good at, that was something I developed. And then I guess to give a twofer here, giving a virtual keynote was never something I had in the cards. Yeah. And then I had to, in 2020, right? And even sometimes in 2021, I really had to learn how to do that into like a screen, and it's like performing in a vacuum. And
talking to no one.
Totally. And now
what I thought, talking to no one on a screen.
Dude, honestly, yeah, right. Yeah, here you go. But like honestly, doing a keynote like to a blank screen, because all these students had their cameras off, they're on mute. Like I'm talking to myself.
You're talking to a wall.
It was horrible. I really hope and pray I never have to go back to doing that again. And I've pulled it off. You just do it, but I get so distracted. But I did probably 25 of them, 30 of them, and you just got good at it. That was the way you picked up. But if I'm thinking overall in the 10-year span, writing is definitely the thing that I got to do, and I still practice it often. But like I tell people to write. Like do as much as you can, get yourself out there, and people notice that. But write to motivate. It's very different than writing a story, right? You're writing an actual talk that you hope emits emotion from people.
Yeah, but when you write a talk, like how many do you count pages on that? Like do you know roughly kind of what it is?
Well, I try to write it for a note card. So I'm writing
your bullet points,
like phrases, right? Sure. That will then emit what I want to say. So usually, like I'm typing out a document that has everything I want, and then I'm translating that into a note card to then kind of bring out the topics I want to. So there is a level of like it's fully written as a story, but then it's like let's translate that into me doing the thing and kind of going off and then getting into the main topic of what I know I'm going to need to hear. That's usually the way I pull it off.
Sure.
Yeah. Very, very, every speaker is different. Like for the record, some people are like, have everything written out. Some people don't write anything at all and they memorize it.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. Like
I didn't know if it's like, so like when you write for like TV and movies and stuff, like they say a page is basically a minute.
Right.
So I didn't know if you you were like, oh, I have a 45-minute keynote. I got to write a 45-page paper.
I'm not even thinking about time when
Sure.
I do it. I write the content I need to get to, and then if I time it out and it's totally short or totally long,
Okay.
I'll take some stuff out or whatever. Usually it's short. I end up having to add some stuff in, but I'm not thinking about like, how can I get to 45 minutes? I'm like, what's the message? What do I need to put in there? And then I fill in some gaps in between as I
Sure.
can.
Okay.
What is your special set of skills?
Jim, my skill that I didn't think that I ever actually had to develop when I started writing a website and writing about music, I never thought that I was going to be the guy in front of the camera.
There you go.
And now I am literally in front of cameras.
Quite literally.
All the time. We are in front of cameras. We are in front of students all the time at Marquette when we do those in-person ones. I never really thought that I needed to have like the gift of gab at all, or to even talk on a podcast.
Yeah,
like I was like really cool when, especially like when I was in school and stuff.
I remember
like, being
this.
like,
you would not want to.
I was the guy behind the scenes, and I was very cool with being the guy behind the scenes. That has changed dramatically. You know what I mean? Like to the point where like now we're doing this podcast every week, and we have, I'm out there but I'm doing videos for stuff, and I'm, not only like shooting and editing the things that I know that I was going to have to do. Right. But I never really thought I was going to be the face of it. I thought I would just produce for other people.
Things change a bit.
And be the guy behind the scenes. And now look at us. We're here doing this.
Look at us. Yeah.
Hey, look at us.
It's cool. Did you? When did you start realizing that was like happening? Did you like? Did you were like, oh, maybe I am good at this?
Well, actually, I guess. I mean, so these microphones that we got during COVID. Because we were going to send a writer down to South by Southwest, and then we ended up using the money on microphones to do like some virtual stuff. And we started doing like some Instagram live stuff initially, me and him. And then the idea for like, hey, well, we could start a podcast. It just kind of came up.
As
like everybody had one, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then we talked after, which was the start of Hustling Sideways too. So just gradually, it was kind of like, oh, I'm going to do more stuff in front of camera.
You started almost, putting yourself, like each opportunity was like, oh, one more time in front of camera.
Yeah, and also like social media stuff too, to be like, okay, well, I need to make a video, and I'm not going to go hire somebody to go talk about the thing I know best, right? So I'm going to be the guy on camera for it.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing that. But like... now it's totally at a point though where like I don't get nervous when there's cameras around, and like when I used to have to talk on camera, like some of those early takes of stuff are terrible. Yeah, there's a lot of
the first thing for anyone is terrible.
Yeah, there's a lot of recording stuff for me that initially was like 20 or 30 tries to get like an intro in or something like that. Something like just does not come, first nature to me. I remember doing public speaking classes at Marquette, and I never want to see that footage again ever. I have a VHS tape around
even
somewhere.
For me, who like knew I wanted to do that, those things sucked. By the way, we filmed ourselves on VHS tapes in college. And that was
back in our day
speaking class, and
we were probably the last people.
But like our
VHS.
teacher was, I remember the teacher aide was horrible. That was just like not a good experience. They made it awkward though. You could make that fun, right? And the assignment in of itself was just like. It didn't work, and I get excited to do that kind of stuff, and I was even like, this stinks. I don't want to have to
now. Honestly, the only time I actually really get nervous when there's cameras on is when I know that it's like live TV.
Oh sure,
because I've done live TV a few times, and that still trips me up a little bit because I'm like, oh my god, everyone in southeastern Wisconsin can see me because it's been like local TV. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. I'm not doing anything national, right? And you're relying on like a production thing that you can hear in your headphones, but nobody else can hear. Yeah. So you're relying on the truck to be like, oh, what's live? I don't know what's on the screen right now.
Well, that's cool that you've picked that up. That's become your thing.
Oh yeah, I've done that. Awesome. I've done radio, and we've done this podcast now for like honestly 100 plus videos. 4 years. Yeah. And
I guess. For our audience, what's something you've picked up? Yeah, trying to do this.
Tell us what is a skill that you never thought you had to do, but now you're doing
a particular set of skills that make life a living hell for people like you.
All right, Liam Neeson.
I'm here to quote take it anytime you need me. Anyway, finish us out.
Well, we're gonna be taken away from this podcast.
Oh boy,
that's terrible. So I also got.
I'm out.
Segues were not one that I developed. Anyway. We're the Hustling Sideways podcast. You can catch us wherever you catch your podcasts. We're on YouTube. We can also do whatever. I don't know. I forgot where I was going with that. Yep. See, didn't I tell you I was good at speaking? We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the things. Facebook as well. And we will be back here next week. So, Jim.
Keep on hustling.
We will see you next week.
Peace.